If Persian princesses who were silent about Gaza for 2 years are crashing out at you from the inside of their Mercedes in Studio City, while the most ardent communists that you know are defending theocratic clerical fascism, it can mean only one thing: Iran is in the news again. Every time Iran comes up, the world gets plunged once again into a very delicate conversation about who gets to resist and what does acceptable resistance look like. Here are the facts. The Islamic Republic is a theocratic fascist regime that governs through gender apartheid, violence, and imprisonment. People living under that system do not experience resistance as a delicate conversation. They experience it as survival. At the same time, the Islamic Republic of Iran provides the resistance movements in Lebanon and Palestine with the munitions necessary for them to continue their ongoing resistance against Zionist colonialism. But it definitely does not do this out of the goodness of its heart. It does this to advance its geopolitical position relative to regimes like Israel and the United States. Western liberals, predictable in both their insincerity and their inconsistency in supporting people's movements, will rush in to tell you that the people of Iran need to be liberated. They lift up Iranian voices who will tell you it is time for things to change, that this regime is repressive and needs to be removed immediately. And then Western leftists will rush in and do the exact opposite. They will tell you that Iran, as it stands now, the Islamic Republic, is a core pillar of what is known as the axis of resistance, and that we must give critical support to that pillar so that it can continue to operate as a node of resistance against the American empire and its Israeli satellite. Here's what makes this even more confusing. Many Iranians in the diaspora, particularly wealthy Iranians who fled after the Shah's regime collapsed, have aligned themselves with the United States and its imperialist policy, as well as the settler colonial state of Israel. Many of them also support reinstating Iran's former monarch, the Shah. Hence why you might be confused when you show up at a protest and see monarchist Iranian flags flown next to Israeli flags, along with little pictures of Reza Pahlavi, who the United States and Israel would like to tell you is going to be the next ruler of Iran. A man with a 45-year gap on his resume, and without the support of his own people. This is no accident. The United States and Israel do not want democracy in Iran. They would prefer to have the Shah. And so, to that end, they have spent millions and millions of dollars guiding the Iranian diaspora towards support of the Shah. You are told that you only have two options. The first is to support imperialism to overthrow clerical fascism, and the other is to support clerical fascism in order to combat imperialism. Meanwhile, the reality, like in Venezuela, is both more simple and more complex. It's simple because, as a leftist, you should be for the liberation of all people against all regimes. But it's complex because what that liberation looks like is just as important as the liberation itself. Just as Palestine is a convenient ground for contradiction for leftists and an inconvenient one for liberals, Iran is a convenient ground for contradiction for liberals and an inconvenient one for leftists. Both Western liberals and Western leftists have a tendency to simplify and flatten the complexities of both Palestine and Iran. The Iranian pro-democracy movement in Iran understands that swapping clerical robes for crowns is not liberation, it's counter-revolution. They understand that rejecting clerical rule does not automatically mean embracing monarchical rule. They understand something that a lot of Western leftists and Western liberals fail to, which is that what is needed is a third pole, a path that rejects both clerical fascism and royal restorationism, a movement rooted in direct democracy. Workers, women, students, neighborhood assemblies. No kings, no clerics, no Western approval, no Western intervention. When Western liberals and Western leftists flatten Iran into a geopolitical chess piece, they end up policing resistance instead of listening to it. This all stems from a notion that Iranians owe us some kind of clean, discernible revolution. They don't. Revolution is messy. It always has been. Of course, the CIA and Mossad are going to try and turn this to the geopolitical advantage of the United States and Israel. They are literally doing that everywhere around the world all of the time. That is not a reason for you to abandon solidarity with the Iranian people. The Iranians deserve to have a future free from Western imperialism and from clerical fascism, not just to choose who their next oppressors are going to be. If Persian princess